I'm going to restart that whole thing.
This is Past the Rock.
Welcome to the final installment of this week's Pass the Rock, where we'll cover what's going on in the football preseason and do a little more NFL head coach fight club.
I don't know if y'all are old enough to have that happen in school, but people used to get caught texting in school because the phone would make the.
It's not my giant dildo, is it?
Is that a Theragun or whatever?
This is charging. Yes, dude. Don't buy the expensive ones either. What is this brand? Fucking sponsor the pod. What is that? It's like $30 something. I don't know how that looked on the camera because I accidentally clicked off my camera before.
Actually,
I did
wait,
that.
one more time. Go ahead and do that for me again in 3, 2, 1, go.
Looks off the defender, hands it to me for the
Perfect.
3-yard gain. Fun fact, fellas, back in middle school, football, we had a coach. He was a former Miami Dolphin. I don't remember his first name, but I know it was I think it was like Margin Hooks or something like that. Either way, I remember one time at practice, we were doing like catching drills. I was dropping them, obviously. And I was like, "Hey, yo, coach, this was, me, I was being self-deprecating, trying to make a joke. It's like, coach, if this was game of Madden, my catching stat would be at 0." And he's like, "It is at 0.
Oh,
Go run some laps for me." I'm like, "All right, cool." No wonder I don't play. But in my defense, I was a fullback. Back when fullbacks were sort of still in, I guess, whatever.
Boy, my son would get his ass beat if he came home and told me he was a fullback. Come on, boy.
I ran a fullback dive on Madden yesterday.
No, I mean, I get it. It was an important part. I'm just saying there's never a point in history where I want my kid playing fullback.
Yeah, I was. What year was this? 2006. 2006. The team was still running I formation. So
shout out to Ms. Johnson, but I just
now here's the thing. I wasn't even the starting fullback, so it lets you know how that went for me. Anyways, let's talk about some football, gentlemen. All right, guys. So we're getting closer and closer to the start of the NFL season, and I wanted to do for these last 2 weeks. I think because we have 2 weeks before the season starts, if my math is not totally off. I want to do predictions. So for this week, gentlemen, I want to predict who's going to be going home with an individual award. We're doing individual award predictions based on odds from Vegas.
Wait, what odds are you using? Because I'm going to look up a different book.
So right now, I'm using the website known as Vegas Insider. They have like an aggregate of different other sports books. So they have like DraftKings.
That's why they're number one in SEO. I was just when I search that, they're the first that pops up. But I have DraftKings stock, so I'm clicking on DraftKings. No need to shout out. Sponsor the fucking pod. I'm a shareholder.
There you go. Yeah, sponsor the pod. Even though we're in Texas and gambling's not legal here. Yet.
I have. Hey, Ryan McDermott, good friend of mine, on the case. Shout out McDermott, even though he's not a sports fan and will never hear this. He is a YouTube nerd, though, so maybe I can get him to watch it now.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, gentlemen, I wanted to start off, or before we start off, I wanted to ask you guys, what award that's not MVP do you guys want to start off with? We could do Rookie of the Year, Offense, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, and then we can end things off with the MVP odds.
No, Comeback Player of the Year.
That's an easy. That's a given. If you want to do that, we can do that, though.
Oh,
Absolutely.
It is a given. That's so late. No, because how the fuck is he? That's such a.
What if he dies?
Who else is going to do it?
We need to have. Okay. No, we need to have this dialogue now because now I'm a little.
What if he dies?
All right, let's do it. Let's have this dialogue right now.
There's a really good bet here. There's a really good bet on DraftKings that I'm. Well, no, that's not that because he's third, right? Yeah, never mind. All right, keep going.
All right, but yeah, let's talk about it. So, for those of you who may be confused as to who we're talking about, for NFL Comeback Player of the Year, it should be kind of obvious that it's going to go to DeMar Hamlin as long as he plays a decent amount. Because
What if
As
the
long as-
man is coming
He's
back
not
from the
gonna get it.
dead.
As long as he
He's
puts
coming
on his jersey.
Yeah.
What if he goes
87.
out there and dies? You can't give him comeback player of the year.
Well, he's
Well,
already died on the field once, technically.
that happens. I don't think they're going to be worried about the awards.
Okay, so he came back to life. We brought him back to life.
I will be if I
There
put money
is a
on it.
shoe-in. All right, there's not a lot of competition for this award. It's him or Tua, I guess. So for the odds
If
right
Russell
now
Wilson,
on this book,
if Russell Wilson balls the
That's
fuck
what I was saying.
out,
I felt like that's a pretty good bet. Yeah,
it
Russell
will not
Wilson.
happen. But if he did, they would give it to him.
yeah. So
There's some
just for
interesting
people
names
to-
though too.
Yeah. So on Vegas Insider, we have DeMar Hamlin at -300, so he's the overwhelming favorite to win. Tua Tagovailoa at +2,000. Russell Wilson at +2,500. Trey Lance at +4,000. That's a mess right
That's
there.
not looking good right now.
That's not looking good for his NFL career. There's no chance.
He's Mr.
But
Third
hey-
String now.
Hey, put down $1 and you might get what, 400 if it pans out.
Also, are we going to put money on how long it takes for Sam Darnold to be the starting quarterback in San Francisco?
I mean, I'm willing to put some money.
Never, unless someone's
Honestly,
hurt.
If we're talking about comeback player of the year, because like Purdy, I mean, I don't know if I believe the Purdy thing. And Sam Darnold's not that bad of a quarterback. It's a system he can play. He's not that great, but like it would like if you're using him as a system quarterback where he's in that system where it's like do the bare minimum.
They tried.
So
that
I'm
in
looking down
Carolina,
the
though.
I'm
Carolina
looking down
didn't
the
have a
full
system.
candidate. I'm looking down the full candidate list for him or for who they have for comeback player of the year. I don't see Sam Darnold's name anywhere. So
He's
no, never mind.
4,500 on DraftKings. Yeah.
Okay, on Vegas Insider, he is +6,000. If you were to
That's
do on
worse.
FanDuel,
I don't think
so
he's expected
if you
to
did
get any
FanDuel,
starts.
you can get +6,000.
Yeah.
on
Well, he's
Sam
not
Darnold.
expected, but I think he will. But all right, that's an interesting one.
Not bad. Not bad. Listen, I think this is a shoe-in regardless. It's DeMar Hamlin. He just has to play a couple games, and it's like, hey, congrats. You
Oh, wait.
died and came back to life.
You putting money on Baker Mayfield?
Hell no. What's he coming back from?
7,500? It's 7,500?
He's,
What is that?
If
What is that?
DeMar,
pay?
if DeMar
coming back from
Hamlin
being
wasn't
terrible?
involved, if
Like-
there was no DeMar Hamlin, then maybe I would.
No, that's what
consider
this
that.
list is. It's just a bunch of players who are either hurt or awful. The one that's kind of weird too is it didn't even matter how much you were hurt because Tony Pollard's on this list too.
Yeah, what are his odds?
Bro,
He shouldn't be eligible.
They got Deshaun Watson on this
eligible
list.
for a
they
comeback?
got Deshaun Watson.
He
on
had a
this
bad
list.
year.
Yeah.
Oh
well,
man, what? Okay,
I mean-
Deshaun Watson's coming back from.
That's one way to put it. Yeah, he had
You
a
know what, I'm
bad
not
year.
He had a bad time. He had a bad 2 years. Let's go. Let's be real.
From all the coming on the backs, we get it.
That was rough.
A little
Oh,
forced, but
you know what? Chase Young.
DeAndre
Chase
Swift
Young's
could
on
also be
here.
an
Yo,
interesting one.
Chase Young's a good bet right here. +10,000.
Chase
FanDuel?
Young is a good one. Damn, that's really good.
none
odds.
of them are good because DeMar Hamlin's in there. That's
Well,
why.
Yeah,
no,
you're
yeah.
right. I mean, you really are right. But damn. So I agree unless it's a quarterback. I feel like a
Yeah,
quarterback
they'd
can
have
still win the award. Like Tua and
They
Russell
would have to do
could
so
win.
good, and they'd probably split it.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Lamar
but-
Jackson's an interesting one to have on here for me. Calvin Ridley.
He wasn't. I don't think he was bad enough. I don't think he was. Yeah, that'd be funny. Betting on Calvin Ridley is very funny. Yes.
Matter of fact, let's go ahead and put down a bet, fellas. Let's put down a bet.
That's actually very funny.
Just as a bit. Let's go ahead and put down some money on him.
All right, I'm not gonna lie. I wonder who the fuck Jordan Brooks is.
Linebacker for I think the Seattle Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, fair enough. That was the only name on this whole list I didn't recognize, so I think I'm still doing good.
Yeah, former Texas Tech Red Raider Jordan Brooks, surprise first round pick. I think he's a Dallas native, by the way. So
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
shout out him. Yeah. So I think we're all in agreement then that the NFL Comeback Player of the Year is probably just going to be DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, I mean, it probably could be. Although, here's another good one. TJ Watt.
TJ Watt. Okay, but how much
Injured
fun
most
does
of the
he
year
have?
world
last
where
year,
it's
right?
not Damar Hamlin.
I'm just saying, I'm considering without the bullshit. If you're going on merit of stats alone, which I understand is not the way you should bet in this award. I'm just
let's see,
saying, who could make the argument statistically? And I think
I
TJ Watt
mean,
could make the argument statistically because he got injured so early in the last season.
I mean,
that team fell off.
He got hurt after 10 games, didn't he?
Was
It says
that-
here he played 10
was that-
games.
Okay, well, never mind. That's a lot of games.
But he wasn't very good in those 10 games. Just from if you just go off the numbers.
I remember TJ Watt fucking some shit up, but okay.
At least in the sack category.
And that's not always a position where numbers are going to be reflective of your job well done.
Yeah.
But all right, fair enough. Yeah, I'm good with that because it's logical. I mean, there's plenty of interesting candidates we've talked about, but yeah, Damar Hamlin is probably. Is he the biggest favorite? Excuse me, is he the biggest favorite for any award?
Yeah,
so.
it's like overwhelming.
Yep, that is correct. He is the only person on DraftKings with a negative
That's
odd.
just like how obvious it is. Yeah.
It is.
Like I said, unless he just dies on the field this year, then they can't give him comeback player of the year. No, I mean like really though.
Well, at that point they might. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, his heart did
You
stop.
can't name this award after him.
God.
He'll be fine. It's gonna be okay.
It's getting morbid in here. Let's go on and move on to NFL.
He's gonna be all right. He's gonna get that award. It's gonna be cool.
They got to name this. What was his name? Brian. What was his name?
From Brian's song.
Yeah.
I don't remember his last name.
I just remember because he wasn't the good one. The good one was what's his name? The running back.
That is such an old story. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Gale Sayers.
Okay.
Gale Sayers. Thank you.
Boom. Yeah, because Gale Sayers is a Hall of Famer. Like, he's legit.
Oh yeah.
No blind side.
Oh,
strong side.
Talking about the blind side again.
No, I was talking about how The Blind Side is a movie that is bad for a lot of reasons, but is bad because it overhypes a guy who. It's like, what else is Michael Orr's career notable for?
Not sure. I mean, how many?
He went to a Pro Bowl. He went to a few Pro Bowls, though, I think.
Yeah,
you're.
It's hard to be notable as a
career
tackle.
Notable for. Yeah.
You have to be like
all pro teams. All pro teams. How many all pro teams you rack up?
I don't think he racked up any all pro teams.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Those Zach Martin numbers.
You know what? He has the Super Bowl, so you know
that's true.
That's true. Anyway,
I'll take that. I'd like one of those.
Yes.
Zach Martin would like one of those.
I think everybody's fan base would like one of those.
I'm fucking loving the coach. Okay, can we go to Coach of the Year? Is that a or
do you have a plan? Yeah, we could. No, there is no plan.
Okay.
Though I look like a man with a plan.
Well, you asked me to do an MVP last, and on DraftKings it goes comeback, coach, defensive rookie, offensive rookie, defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year, then MVP. So it kind of works.
All right, so now let's go ahead and just do a coach of the year then. All right, I don't have that right in front of me, so if you want to list it off real quick.
I got mine.
Go ahead, Becky. This one shows Dan Campbell to be the favorite at 8,500, but then Sean Payton at 900. Eberflus is an interesting one. I like Eberflus, and I like the way the Bears are kind of building towards. Although maybe this year would be tough to see them jump that much.
Ain't happening.
Arthur Smith has an interesting opportunity with his division, but their team's got a lot of interesting problems. Robert Saleh is actually. I think Robert Saleh. I would go Robert Saleh. That's what I'm going to go with. Because he's got the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. The team was already good. Is that going to
hurt him? Is it going to hurt him having Aaron
Rodgers? If they win a lot of games, I don't think it will. Like if they win a lot of games, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but that's an if, right? Because that's.
I mean, who's so it's Buffalo, Miami. Okay, we don't know what Miami really is. New England maybe you want to trust that shit, but New England doesn't have a lot of talent.
Yes, I mean you have Buffalo and Miami.
I don't expect New
gut.
England to win any of those games, but I also don't expect them to lose. They're just a step down from where they used to be.
So I think as long as the Jets, okay, so let's just going off of the people ahead of Robert Saleh, right? Which is Matt Eberflus, Arthur Smith, Sean Payton, Dan Campbell, all of those guys in the NFC. Oh well, I guess Sean Payton's with the Broncos. That's right. I look at Robert Saleh. I'm like, as long as the Jets can like eke out 11 wins, then I could see him getting Coach of the Year. I could see that happening. Sean Payton, like he's taking over a semi-talented roster, a decent roster. That just did not live up to expectations.
No quarterback, yeah.
LaFleur has the same odds as Saleh.
Wait, Brian Flores?
No, Matt
LaFleur.
Oh, Matt LaFleur. Oh yeah.
I have Tomlin and Eberflus all with the same odds as them as well on mine, but
yeah, this one doesn't have that. This one has Tomlin a little bit further down.
So some of the things to just take into consideration when Coach of the Year is kind of handed out, right? It usually goes to like the first time or really brand new coaches or coaches who have brand new quarterbacks, right? And there's like a remarkable turnaround. So just based off of that, Robert Saleh seems like a shoe-in. Dan Campbell, I mean, there's so much hype for the Lions this season that I just don't see him getting the award. Like, because if they do well, because if they do well, it was expected, and if they do bad, it's just another disappointing Lions team. So
yeah, but if
the Lions win the division, he's getting Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Like that's if he actually pulls that off, yeah.
The one that keep going, but I gotta defend my boy. I gotta at least talk the case out for my boy.
I think I feel like O'Connell right there at plus 3,000 when I'm looking at it's not a bad bet, but
what? Yeah, I guess it's an issue of what's changed about the Vikings from here to last year.
Yeah, if I had to go off of anything,
this defense,
Yeah, if I'm going off of any of these, right? Just me personally, I'm looking at who the favorites are, and I'm like, all right, I want to go against the grain. I'm putting my money down on Shane Steichen at plus 2,500. It's a weak division. Colts. No, I don't think they went. Listen, all they have in front of them is the Jags. It's a good team, right? But if something happens to Trevor Lawrence, they're done. There's not going to be backup quarterback magic between them and Doug Peterson again, like between Doug Peterson and whoever the backup is in Jacksonville. So, with that said, you have Houston, and then you have Tennessee, two teams on the decline. Houston's always been on the decline, but Tennessee especially. Shane Steichen, if he can make something out of Anthony Richardson's running ability, that rocket arm, and if they can get Jonathan Taylor in the building, it's not a terrible roster. Get them to 9 wins. I think he'll put up a fight for Coach of the Year. It's a big if. And again, this is like my dark horse candidate. That's my dark horse candidate. I think I have more faith in him at plus 2,500 than I have D'Amico Ryans at plus 2,500 or Dennis Allen at plus 2,500. Mike McDaniel, it's too late for that guy to win Coach of the Year. Last year would have been the year since nobody saw the Miami Dolphins.
He'd be Coach of the Year if you keep putting your quarterback out there to get murdered.
Yeah, that too. I'm good on that. So yeah, for me, that's my bet. That's my dark horse bet. But if I had to go with one of the favorites, I guess I'm putting Robert Saleh there. I don't believe in the Falcons, McDaniel, in Arthur Smith or the Broncos or Dan Campbell.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel, obviously for the same reason. For that,
I would say like with Campbell, yeah, if he can win that division, I think you give it to him. If he can beat the Jets and the Bills and the Pats for that division, for sure you'd give it to him.
I would say there is an interesting bet you could make. I'm pretty sure you have to be a Cowboys fan to do it in a delusional, like a specifically delusional one. But I do think that having McCarthy all the way down at the bottom here, with Bowles, Reed, and McDermott, is where he's at in my group.
Plus 4,000.
I get it because it makes sense for a lot of reasons, but just to play a little devil's advocate on my guy here, why I think he should at least be like in the 3,000 odds. This is pretty much make or break for McCarthy as far as changing his impression of the team, right? So offensively, if this team shines, if Dak shines, McCarthy will probably get a lot of the praise, and if they win a lot of games because of it, you know what I mean. That path kind of makes it easier for him to win Coach of the Year. It's just, and you would be talking about 3 straight years of like actual 10+ win Cowboys. Like that would be breaking a decade
That's your
streak.
problem, though. That's not how you win Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again,
Because if that's
this
the
would be
case,
him
Bill
taking
Belichick
over the
would've had-
offense. This would be him taking over the offense. Is the only reason I'm even making the argument he should have a little bit more on there. It's because
Yeah,
if
it
it
would-
works, he gets the credit, right? Obviously, if it doesn't, it's the
Honestly, the only way I see him and anybody who has
17-0.
like a Super Bowl contender, go undefeated.
That's fair.
that's
Yeah, I mean that'll do it.
It's just the bar's too high. I mean,
I
there's
agree.
nowhere for him to
I
go
agree.
above the bar
Now,
for them outside of
Let's
that,
say
though.
this. Let's say, for example, let's say Dak goes down for, heaven forbid he goes down, but like he's out for the season, right? And
we're
then
done. We're
he
done.
manages,
Nope,
but he
nope,
manages
we're done.
to no. Let me finish the sentence.
Nope. Cooper
I know
Rush
what
was
you're saying.
worse than ever. Will Greer's a fucking shit show.
But
No,
let's just say,
we're
for
fucked.
example, he manages to get an 11-win team out of that, right, and a playoff spot. That's a miracle work, and that's worth consideration for Coach of the Year.
Now, he better
Let's say
fucking win that award if they do that.
No, I'm just saying that's another way, that's another avenue for him to win it. Don't think they will. Don't think they'll face that problem. Or matter of fact, I don't think he'll win Coach of the Year. Period. Unless they go undefeated, which is so difficult because we've only seen 2 teams do it. Well, us 3, we've seen a team go undefeated in the regular season, and then the people before us, fathers and grandfathers, they've seen the 72 Dolphins. So there's that. But yeah,
I know
Patrick,
against plumbers.
Plumbers. Yeah. So
Fewer
Patrick, do you have
games.
a selection? Did you pick anybody?
Let me go back. I think that the smartest choice. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough because it does all depend on which quarterbacks play well this year, which is fair for almost every award.
Yup.
I don't know. It's pass.
Boo! Somebody boo this man.
You should go Eberflus. Be nice
I
to your
wouldn't.
division rival.
I absolutely would not. No, I wouldn't think he would win.
You said Mike McDaniel earlier. Maybe we have to marry you to that.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel would be a good one, but that's all like just the same as Dan Campbell. It would be like if he wins this division. That's the problem with Coach of the Year. It depends on stuff that I can't predict.
That'll be tough to win that division.
That's the
because,
same for
people
every
can't stay
award.
up.
Don't let me get away with that generic statement. It's all based on stuff I can't predict. Yeah, if I had to throw money on it, I'll go ahead and say Mike McDaniel.
We got Mike McDaniel for Patrick. Bethke, you got?
Yeah, I went Saleh. I'll go Saleh.
Got Saleh. All right. And then I'm going dark horse candidate here with Shane Steichen, baby. Now, I am going to keep record of our predictions here, just to see how we do at the end of the season.
I don't know how I'm going to predict the next one. I just know I'm not picking one player or 2 players.
I mean, that's fair. So, let me get this jotted down real quick.
Because I just don't watch college football anymore. And honestly, I think one of these awards, rookie awards, is pretty easy too. Health
that
is
one
hard to predict, but
that's that one's pretty much an obvious one. Actually, we can go ahead and go to the obvious one. Let's go to offensive rookie of the year. And it should be said that the overwhelming favorite, without even having to look at the odds, it's gonna be our boy from Texas, Bethke's boy from Texas, the running back, the one, the only. His name's escaping my mind. I don't know why. Help me out here because I'm
Bijan
writing these things
Robinson.
down.
Bijan,
Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Mustard. He just got a commercial account out.
Yeah, and he has a mustard line, I think, if I'm not
That's what I
mistaken on
said.
that.
He just dropped a commercial.
They dropped a commercial for that brand already?
Yeah.
Good for him.
He's got
But
his
yeah.
own Bijan's Dijon.
Bijan's Dijon. So yeah, I honestly I don't think it's even close on this guy. It has to be him.
There's a couple.
Right?
I mean,
It's like you could go quarterback because quarterback is a very popular choice.
who ended up drafting Jamar Gibbs?
The Lions. So
That's another good one.
So maybe if they use him properly, but that's a big if in and of itself, right?
I actually think that would be I think I might even be
So-
able to talk to that. That's a good bet, given that everyone's going to go with Bijan.
So what we have here, Bijan, here on DraftKings, right? He's plus 275. The next best odds belong to Bryce Young at plus 500. Makes sense. He's already been named the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. Anthony Richardson with the Colts is next at plus 600. CJ Stroud plus 850. Jahmyr Gibbs, running back from the Lions, plus 1,000. Then you have Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think that's a really good one.
He just fractured his hand, though.
Yeah. Did he? I've not been keeping up with the preseason.
You guys saw that on the TL today.
Oh, that's unfortunate. And then you have
Where do you have
receiver Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where do you have Jordan?
I kind of
Yeah,
was
okay.
looking at Jordan Addison too, but
That'd be
I don't know.
That'd be a
hard.
good one, especially with Jefferson pulling a lot of the coverage.
Yeah,
But-
that's and well,
But
Yeah,
that's not a tight end,
quarterbacks
though,
are always
too.
going to have the advantage.
Yeah, well, I feel like running back has the advantage in Rookie of the Year because they don't have the turnover stats against them if they have
Problem
the
is it's
carries.
Atlanta.
Yeah, but Atlanta's going to need him if they're going to do anything, and the same with Gibbs. I think Gibbs and Robinson are both high usage rookies. Is why I would look at it.
Bijan Robinson's going in there, and he's automatic.
Who's got Zay Flowers?
Zay Flowers, I think he's on the Raiders.
Oh no, never mind. I like the talent. I don't like the
No,
team.
sorry, I was mistaken. He's a Raven.
Oh, I kind of like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, but it is a brand new offense, a new offensive system. So it's going to take some time for Lamar Jackson and then the rest of the offense, who is already more like all the veterans, to
I also
get used to.
I don't hate Quentin Johnson and with the Chargers, given that I think that Kellen Moore's going to act like a fucking lunatic with his play calling this year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if you guys, if I were to tell anybody, hey, listen to me and place your money on this particular rookie, honestly, I'm and you're not going with Bijan Robinson or one of the quarterbacks. Honestly, I think I'm going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs. He was a threat in Alabama in the run game, in the pass game. If anything, I think the Lions are going to want to make use of the running backs like they did last season. Try to get the ball out quickly. You don't want you just don't want to cause any, or you don't want to be risky with your play calling, especially when you have so much on the line this season as the Lions do. So Jahmyr Gibbs might be a safe bet if you are going against the grain and you're trying to make a little bit of bang for your buck at plus 1,000. But that's not my personal choice. I'm going with house money. Give me Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, I'm going Bijan too. And I'll quickly pass off. But first, I'm seeing 10,000 for my Deuce. I don't know. I'm gonna have to put a little money on the Deuce this year. Tony Pollard a little hurt. We didn't sign anybody. I don't know. I don't know. This is the time for me to get caught up in the hype. But that's it. That's the end for the hype. Patrick?
No hype, just facts. Jordan Addison, put it down.
I like that.
man.
I like that. Go with your boy. I really did look at Jordan Addison a lot, and I was like, I kind of like that, but
There's value there for sure.
yeah,
Just where
I
he's slotted.
I would rather take the running backs, those two running backs. But if I was being dead ass, I think Addison is the interesting player, and quarterback is a crapshoot. It's like if you can promise me any of these guys is going to throw less than 15 interceptions, and I might be with you. But that's probably not going to happen. So,
But I mean, we've seen shaky quarterback play win the award regardless.
true. I agree, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think they definitely have the advantage.
I feel like the turnovers could be high with all three of those guys. So
That is fair. Yeah, we'll see. Let's go on and move on to a harder to predict award, and that's Defensive Rookie of the
real.
Year.
Probably has a weird history too.
Is now, if I remember correctly, I think the last 7 of the last 10 have been defensive linemen or edge rushers specifically.
That's what I was about to say. Will Anderson's the favorite, and that's probably why.
Yeah, Will Anderson is indeed the favorite for this one. I got Will Anderson plus 350, Jalen Carter from the Eagles at plus 550. That's even harder to predict as a defensive tackle to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think the only one that's ever done it was Ndamukong Suh, and I might even be mistaken on that.
Yeah, in character concerns, you got to watch out for those.
I don't want to hear this from a Cowboys fan.
Hey, I'm sorry. We're not the ones over here. What were the Eagles doing? Eagles are being dirty at the cheap shotting people and starting fights.
That was a long time ago.
No, that's not what the Twitter streets were saying this week. Jason
Aaron
Kelsey
Donald
was being a scumbag.
You know what?
Donald
He's
got
earned
it in 2014.
Aaron, is that the last DT?
Yeah,
Tackle,
that's the last
yeah.
defensive tackle. Yeah. So yeah, Ndamukong Suh in 2010, and then Aaron Donald for the Rams when they were in St. Louis in 2014 as defensive tackles. Everybody else, let's see. Last year's winner, Sauce Gardner, Michael Parsons in 2021, Chase Young in 2020, Nick Bosa 2019, Darius Leonard, weirdly enough. All right, from the Colts,
Shaq
2018.
Leonard.
And then you have
Shaq Leonard.
Marshawn Lattimore.
Am I wrong?
I think that's what they call him.
I don't know what it is. I just know you're talking about the Colts guy.
You said Darius.
Yeah, well, that's
Darius
what they have.
Shaq Leonard. I never knew his first name was Darius. Sorry.
You're good. Joey Bosa for the Chargers in 2016. Marcus Peters. So it's been interchanged between cornerbacks and pass rushers essentially. And then Darius Leonard's the one off-ball linebacker, true off-ball linebacker, to win the award since Luke Kuechly did it in 2012.
And we should note that the obvious clear favorite went down with an injury this past week, so that's why the odds are also a little weird.
Yeah, we have let's see, we have what Will. So,
but next year he'll still be available. So next year, the Marvion Overshawn Rookie of the Year campaign. Get it started, folks.
I really thought you were telling me that the obvious Will Anderson got hurt because I don't pay attention to preseason. God damn it! All right. So, Overshawn, R.I.P. Your chances of winning the award this year.
All right, red shirt, buddy. Learn more about the game. Get a little more muscle. Y'all don't know about DeMarvion yet. Let the Eagles have one more year of this little joke-off thing, and then when all their old guys retire and it's just the quarterback, there we go. It's too late.
Listen, that offensive line is younger than you think it is. But either way, here we go. So, Will Anderson on DraftKings is plus 400. Jalen Carter plus 700. And we'll just go off DraftKings on this particular run. Tyree Wilson of the Oakland Raiders. Weirdly enough, he is Oakland Raiders. God damn it, I did it again. The Las Vegas Raiders, plus 1,000. That's surprising. He's
most of these dudes' names, to be honest.
Devin Witherspoon of the.
That's how I felt too.
Yeah, Seattle Seahawks, man. This guy, he's a good corner. But it's just so hard for me to think of a corner winning the award. I mean, last year we had a Seattle Seahawk lead the. He was
Last
tied
year,
for.
last year a corner
The
did win the
corner
award.
last year was a corner, but it was Sauce Gardner, and that's just
Yeah, it was Sauce Gardner.
hard to
No, no. What I was
replicate.
gonna say was the Seattle Seahawks had a rookie corner who was
Honestly,
leading the league in
Gonzalez
Hmm?
Gonzalez could work. Gonzalez could work because he's in New England, right?
Yes, he is in New England, and you're under Bill Belichick, and that is a strong secondary. Uh, they might honestly have the best corner tandem or trio in the NFL. So that could be something to look out for, maybe possibly if you're looking for a dark horse. But yeah, Tyron Woodley, I believe last year, I think at one point had like six interceptions, tied with Chauncey Gardner Johnson, and did not have a lot of he didn't have a lot of buzz for the award. A lot of this really comes down to, were you a first round pick, right? Were you a first round pick? Do you have name recognition? I'm looking at this, and the biggest names are Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, probably Devin Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez, Lucas Van Ness, although I don't think he's going to do well. Jack Campbell for the Lions. I mean, that's not a good defense. He's an off-ball linebacker. You rack up those tackle numbers, people think you did something. Joey Porter Jr., that's a big name. He has odds at plus 2,500. I don't even know if he'll be starting for the Steelers, but that is something. B.J. Ojolari, that's a name. But he's playing for the Cardinals, so probably not going to be.
But what about Eddie? I can't even Adibawore?
Which one are you looking at?
Adibawore. I think so. Adi Timoa. Adi Timoa.
Aditamiwa Adibawore.
And then what are his?
like that.
Oh wow, he has big odds. Okay, he has
I'm just like, you know what I mean? Throwing names out there. You're talking about names. What about Travius Hodges Tomlinson?
Okay, I'm just talking about names
Henry
that might be known.
Toto.
I'm just talking about names that might be known. So I don't know about him. Yeah, on this one, this is a tough to predict award. So I think this one we should all just kind of go with our gut feeling on this.
Notice you didn't say Mozzie Smith.
You mean a defensive tackle that is expected to be a nose?
Are you gonna pick a nose? Are you gonna pick a nose tackle?
I'm not gonna pick a nose tackle. Why would I pick a nose tackle? Who would
I think
pick a
I'm
nose
going
tackle for Rookie of the Year?
I think I'm going Christian Gonzalez.
Okay, I thought you were about to go and pick a nose tackle.
All right, Mozzie looks awful. I love it. We'll see how it goes, but it's not preseason is not showing you that's the bet you want to make.
All right, I got you written down for Christian Gonzalez. Patrick, who are you going with?
Kalijah Cansey.
Kalijah Cansey.
Oh, that would piss me off. That would piss me off because that's the one who I guess the Cowboys could have gotten, but didn't.
Kalijah Cansey.
Who did he play for?
Pittsburgh.
No, who is he going to play for?
The Bucks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was a late first. If I'm not mistaken, he was a late first round pick.
I just know that he was mocked with Mozzie around that same area, and they went with Mozzie for whatever reasons. And
Pick 19.
Cansey was somebody they liked, but I heard a lot of things that people were getting lost and carried away because he looked too much like Aaron Donald, but wasn't really Aaron Donald and that good shit. So
yeah, he's a smaller player than Aaron Donald, and didn't
6'1", 280.
Yeah, and when I mean small, I mean like lengthwise, and also Aaron Donald is like an exception to the rule of lengthy pass rushers from the interior. So if Kalijah Cansey can pull it off, then good on him and good on Patrick. But on this one, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and assume that for whatever reason, a linebacker breaks the trend. An off-ball linebacker wins an award again. I'm gonna go with Jack Campbell at plus 2,000 because I don't want to jinx my boy Jalen Carter. All right, so we have Coach of the Year, Offensive and Defensive Rookies of the Year. Let's go on and move on to the vets for these awards. Gentlemen, do we want to go Offensive Player or Defensive Player of the Year, or do? Because these look
Dealer
pretty
choice.
close. All right, let's go with the one that might be a little tough to predict on this one, just because of the odds right here. Vegas is telling me that Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, Nick Bosa, Sauce Gardner, and Max Crosby all have reasonable odds to be the Defensive Player of the Year. So let's look at this. All right, first of all, let's look at the last 3 years, the last 3 years, right? Defensive Player of the Year winners. We have Nick Bosa, won it in 2022. T.J. Watt, and hold on. Vegas Insider here has listed Chase Young as the winner of the award in 2020. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
He won that. He won that. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, COVID year.
I didn't remember that either.
I didn't remember that at
Didn't
all.
they sneak into the playoffs that year and like Taylor Heineke had to start against Tom Brady or some stupid crap like that? I don't remember exactly.
I do know what my team
might
was
be
doing that year,
conflating
and
some
it wasn't
stuff.
going to the playoffs. So
We're gonna Google this real quick. No, it was Aaron Donald. I don't know why Vegas Insider has it listed as Chase Young. Other than it might be an error.
I was just gonna roll with it.
Yeah, like that didn't make any sense. But yeah, so we got Aaron Donald, won in 2020. So pass rush is definitely the key to winning this award. So let's go ahead and look at the odds on this one. Honestly, I think it's about time we give it to Myles Garrett. I think he's finally gonna get it. He's been really, really good. I know that he's on a bad team, but the man has been consistently one of the most dominating defensive linemen in the game. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put my money down on him. But this is a discussion, gentlemen. I want to hear your predictions on this.
That's real quick. Chase Young was the rookie defensive of the year in 2020.
nice. They just fucked it up. Honestly, I love that Micah starts off as the favorite, but unfortunately, I think he's probably the biggest victim of the Overshown injury at this point, because they're probably going to means more snaps at linebacker again. So, I would guess that that's probably going to do the same damage it did to him last year, unless one of these kids steps up, or I think they just moved Marquise Bell over to playing safety and linebacker to fill the void. So unless somebody steps up at this point and provides some of the athleticism that we were hoping Overshown would give us, I'm guessing Micah's probably going to have to do that job again. So I don't suspect Micah will be able to pull it off. At least he's got significant roster issues there. Nick Bosa's probably a pretty good bet to go back to back because they're going to be hella good. I like Sauce Gardner a lot. Max Crosby also is no slouch. So that's an interesting group. Interesting group. I think I'd go Myles Garrett too, though. I'm going to go Myles because I think you're right. I think that there's also a make or break part of the thing with Cleveland this year too. It feels like I don't know how much you can blow it up, but I feel like he's been there long enough. They've put enough talent around him. I don't know that he's going to be as nice about it as Joe Thomas was. So yeah, I feel like it's got to be Myles Garrett. I feel like everyone in Cleveland has to understand that they have to not be completely shitty again, or else it could be a complete ejecto-ceto button cuz on that whole franchise.
Yeah, no, 100%. This is make or break in a lot of different ways for that team, for a lot of those players, coaches. And unfortunately for them, it's all kind of dependent upon Deshaun Watson, really. But if Myles Garrett has anything to say about it, he's gonna try to win some games single-handedly if he can. Patrick, what are your thoughts on this?
I can't believe I can't believe it's even a discussion. This is Mike Parsons' award. He's already won it. I think Dan Quinn learned last year about how to not spread him too thin. I think he knows he did that, and I don't think he's going to do that to him again.
It's a matter of the bodies, man. The depth of linebacker is not looking ideal.
Just watching that guy, I would put money on him to win every year for probably the next 4 or 5 years, at least.
I agree.
He's a freak, and I wouldn't ever want him to know that I bet against him.
Well, trust me, Micah, I'm betting against you, but it's not because of you. It's because yet again, we're sitting here.
I bet on him. I bet on him last year, and I firmly stand on it. I would. Yeah,
he should have won last year, but ultimately that team was thin, and they spread him thin, and that it was enough for Nick Bosa to do it.
All of his big stuff was at the beginning of the year, which is annoying, but
listen,
it's fine. He'll get one. He will most likely get one.
Yeah, if it makes you feel better, I believe that Nick Bosa's numbers really hollow. Because somebody did an in-depth look at those sack numbers, and a lot of them came in garbage time against bad teams. So, should have been Micah's last year.
I don't care. I worry about my
sack's a bad number. A sack is absolutely a bad number to go by.
But it is a number that voters go by.
Yeah, pressures and hurries are so much nicer in the modern age.
Yeah, but the sack is the number that I think the general public cares about for the most part, and a lot of these voters also take that into account. Whether they should or shouldn't.
It's shifting, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it is still heavily that side. Yeah.
So, as long as and plus it's what a lot of these guys get paid on anyway, right? So I think for a lot of the players, they care about that too. So right now we have 2 votes for Garrett, 1 for Parsons. Let's go ahead and move on to Offensive Player of the Year, or rather, I like to think of this award, guys, as the "you're not the quarterback." So here you go. So this is like the running back, receiver, tight end award, because I mean they're not going to give it to a quarterback, right? For the most part, it'd be really weird for them to give it to a quarterback and then give the MVP to a non-quarterback. I don't think we've seen that in a long time. So let's just go ahead and look at who we have here on the docket.
Patty Mahomes in 18. And then there was kind of a lot of them for a while there.
Yeah.
But the last 4 years, it's been 3 receivers and a running back.
So it's really tough to be anything else other than, like you said, 3 receivers and a running back, right? Like, oof, yeah.
That's just the last 4 years, so you could also say that a quarterback is due. I actually think I'm going to go ahead and put Lamar Jackson in this cat, because there's been plenty of years where it's MVP and Offensive Player of the Year are the same player, right?
I'll have to look that up.
Well, I don't think the NFL has a problem with that.
I think Cam Newton was an Offensive Player of the Year, but he won MVP in 2015, didn't he?
Yeah, Mahomes was 18 Player of the Year and MVP.
Yeah, it just seems odd that you could be MVP and not be either one, offensive or defensive player of the year.
I think in Madden it only works that way. Actually, I think the game actually doesn't even read it as any other way. So yeah, I'm going Lamar Jackson here.
You're going Lamar Jackson, but that's not going to be your vote for MVP, is it?
It might be. I don't know.
It might be. All right. Let's see. I am on BetMGM for this one. So the current odds on BetMGM have Jamar Chase as the odds-on favorite at plus 1,000.
Yeah, that's what I have.
You have Justin Jefferson at plus 1,300. Christian McCaffrey.
I like McCaffrey a lot, but the motherfucker can't stay healthy. It's a perfect fucking team for him, though. You have to admit that, Patrick. It's a perfect team, but it's just this man's body.
Teams, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it just doesn't matter.
But that's such a perfect team, dude. If they get 17 out of him, he's winning that shit.
All right. I am willing to go really off the beaten path here. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, amazing players. Two of the best at their position. Justin Jefferson, arguably the best receiver in the league right now. I don't think he's winning the award. He's gonna have to do something even more spectacular this season to win it. And I don't know. I mean, how much further can he go? Stat wise. Is he pushing for 2,000 yards this season? If he does, easy. That award, hands down, should go to him. I'm gonna put some money on Aaron Rodgers' new favorite target, Garrett Wilson from the Jets. I want to go with the dark horse here. He's at plus 2,500 to win the award. Ahead of it, he's tied with CeeDee Lamb for odds wise. Behind Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Tyreek Hill, Nick Chubb, Christian McCaffrey. I look at that receiving room and it's not like immaculate. I could see Aaron Rodgers just spamming the Garrett Wilson button all the way to a Pro Bowl season for the guy. Absolute, just wild numbers for a Jets receiver. That's where my money's going to go.
You don't want it at Trey Lance at 10,000.
No, I'm good. Unless he converts positions and then immediately becomes the best at that position. No.
I've got a bit of a long shot for you that I think could be interesting. It's a guy that we actually discussed on an earlier award, potentially. Calvin Ridley, with Trevor Lawrence throwing to him. I'm really interested in what that might be.
Ooh, at plus 6,000. Okay. Yeah, is that your pick?
Yeah, it's a long shot. Yeah, that would be my pick.
Everybody
I'm
should have a long shot.
Taking a risk.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's a good one.
Yeah, I mean,
he's plus 10,000 with DraftKings. Same odds as
yeah, I have him at plus 8.
Same odds as Trey Lance and Amari Cooper.
All right, so we have Lamar for Bethke, Calvin Ridley for Patrick, Garrett Wilson.
Got Trevor Lawrence throwing to him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you
got
really
throwing to him.
If you really wanted to go,
let's have some
super
fun.
dark horse. What are the betting odds for Deuce? I don't see him on.
Oh, not listed. But he'd be offensive or rookie of the year, right? I don't think they would have him odds on.
You can do. Right? You can. Yeah, they do. Calvin or Bijan's definitely listed.
Oh yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah,
hey, you can get Zeke. Both. You can get Zeke at 13,000.
Woo! Yeah, no. I'm good on that. Unless you're giving me 2016 Zeke, I'm good.
Even if you did, the Patriots would only use him about a third of the time anyway, so it's...
Yeah, that's true. The rotation.
They just don't, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I was trying to think.
Hey, bro, why is Blaine Gabbert listed as the odds on MVP? I'm sorry, I'm mad.
Wait, Blaine Gabbert has odds?
Why did he even write that up?
Where is he even playing right now?
Bro, I got Davis Mills odds. I got Bailey Zappi odds.
Yeah, I mean, if they'll take any motherfucker's money if he's just giving it away.
I'm going Andy Dalton, MVP.
You want to go with the Red Rocket?
I'm sorry, I stepped on it. I did not expect to see those names on that list.
Which is fair. And let's go ahead and move on to MVP, gentlemen. Before we go on and finish this off strong with some Fight Club. So, Patrick Mahomes is the odds-on favorite at plus 600. I think that's the most boring bet. I mean, it could happen. Let's be real. He's the best player at the most important position. Is what it is. Unless the
Chiefs also likely to miss some time.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's likely to miss some time. So he's already behind the 8 ball on that one. Josh Allen, honestly, I think the ship has sailed on him winning an MVP. not on like championship odds or anything like that. I just think we've seen what he looks like at his peak, and as
I
long
know
as somebody like,
about
and I think that's
He's pretty young
it,
still.
he's pretty young still. Yes,
his team's
I
pretty
just
good.
it seems pretty good, but he has the Chiefs in front of him. That's the problem, right? And speaking of having the Chiefs in
Maybe.
front of him, Justin Herbert has plus 1,200 odds. I don't know, man. I don't see it with Josh Allen or Justin Herbert this year. I don't see it with Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be kind of brought down by all the hype that's surrounding him and the Eagles this season. He's going to really have to take a step forward. I'm talking about 4,000 yards passing, 600, 700 yards rushing, over 40 touchdowns combined for him to get a shot at this award. And I just don't see him putting up those numbers. Not that he can't put up those numbers, I just don't see it. He'll put up some respectable numbers, maybe something a lot similar to last year's performance. But I mean, last year he was the runner-up, and it wasn't necessarily like it was a close race either. So Jalen Hurts at plus 1,100 on DraftKings. I'm not going to take that bet. Lamar Jackson, a former MVP, plus 1,500. He has missed 5 games each of the last 2 seasons. He's coming in with a better receiving core than he's probably ever had. He's coming in with a new offensive coordinator, so there may be potential for him to put up numbers that he hasn't put up before. 4,000 yards passing, over 30 plus touchdowns through the air, maybe even hit that 40 mark. He could challenge for that, but I just think it's going to be a rough transition period at the start of the season, and it may set him back. But then you have Aaron Rodgers, plus 1,600 of the Jets. Nah. I saw Aaron Rodgers last season. We all saw Aaron Rodgers last season. Like, I don't know how much he still has left in the tank to be elite Aaron Rodgers. I think he has that in the tank for a couple games here and there. Just not for the full season. Last season, I'm just like, that. I don't know what that was, but that wasn't great. Here, who I think I'll put my money on, fellas. I think I'm going to put my money, if I had to pick somebody to challenge Patrick Mahomes, you need some new blood in the race. I'm going with Trevor Lawrence at the Jags. Everything just seems like this is shaping up for the Jags to really take the league by storm this season. Trevor Lawrence has a legitimate threat at number 1 wide receiver with Calvin Ridley coming back. He has Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl winning head coach, a great offensive mind, leading the way. This is year 2 in the system, and it's a winnable division. There is really no threat in that division. So if he comes in, if that team wins like 13 games, he puts up well over 4,000 yards. He's challenging for 35, 40 touchdowns through the air. I think the voters might have and this might work in the favor of Trevor Lawrence, Mahomes fatigue a little bit. This could work. I could see it happen. He's not like a big dark horse, but he's not exactly a favorite to win. But I think smart money says Trevor Lawrence at plus 1,500 on DraftKings.
That's a bold choice. I like it. I'm proud of you for not being a homer, even though I wonder if you're just trying not to jinx any of your players, which I also respect.
Little column A, little column B, if I'm being honest.
I also will say that I had to scroll down quite a bit to get to a non-quarterback MVP odds. I know that doesn't surprise you.
Nope.
But I just wanted to say this out loud because it's really sad, if we're being honest. Christian McCaffrey and Cooper Kupp are the first names I see on my list. And they are directly behind Baker Mayfield and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Bro, that lets you know what Vegas thinks of the award. MVP no longer means most valuable player. It's just most valuable passer.
That's behind Trey Lance and Jordan Love.
Which, yeah, they need to fix those odds. You know what's funny? I'm looking at the VegasInsider.com website, And Trey Lance's photo, if you look at it from the desktop, is just his teeth. It's just a picture of his teeth. Matt Ryan, who's not even in the league, has odds listed plus 8,000. There's no photo of him. So, yeah, not a great look for skill position players.
It's a tough one. I had an MVP in my head and then I lost it. Oh yeah, Josh Allen's my pick. Yeah, you already did it. You jinxed it, so I'm gonna capitalize on that.
All right, we got Josh Allen on this one.
Although it is a fun time for me to see everyone try to convince me that I'm about to watch Dak Prescott be an MVP. No further comment. Just enjoying it.
Heard.
If it happens, fuck yeah.
Gotcha.
No further comment.
All right, Patrick, it's time for you to tell me why Kirk Cousins is the MVP.
I actually thought I was going to have to do a lot of explaining on my Trevor Lawrence pick, but apparently we were of the same mind.
Oh, two Trevor Lawrences.
There we go.
I'm not
I mean,
lying.
a lot of that, and you did bring up the main reason that I think
fatigue
is that they've got 2 games against Houston, 2 games against Indianapolis, and 2 games against Tennessee, which that's really helpful. And if he just progresses the way that it looks like he might, then that could be dangerous for everybody. That could be a sneaky team, Jacksonville.
They were already kind of a sneaky team last season, especially down the stretch, and it just seems like a team on the rise. So glad that you saw it my way on that one, gentlemen. I'm gonna run down just a recap of all of our picks. So we're going from Coach of the Year all the way through MVP. I had Shane Steichen of the Colts for Coach of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Bijan Robinson. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jack Campbell of the Lions. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett for the Browns. Offensive Player of the Year, Garrett Wilson. And then of the Jets. And then I had Trevor Lawrence of the Jags. Patrick, you had Mike McDaniel of the Dolphins for Coach of the Year. Jordan Addison of your Minnesota Vikings. For Rookie of the Year on offense, Kalijah Cansey from the Bucks. On defense, Micah Parsons as your Defensive Player of the Rookie of the Year. Calvin Ridley as your Offensive Player of the Year. And then MVP's T-Law. We all had, by the way, so people don't think I skipped it, but Comeback Player of the Year, we all had DeMar Hamlin, because it's just the odds are too overwhelming in his favor. And Beth Gee, you had Robert Saleh for Coach of the Year, Bijan Robinson for Rookie of the Year, Christian Gonzalez, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year, Lamar Jackson as your Offensive Player of the Year, and Josh Allen as your MVP. We will revisit this whenever these awards come out later next year to see who got these predictions.
I should have picked Lamar twice, but I forgot and then backtracked. So now I'm just gonna have that awkward lineup that's almost destined to not be 100% accurate.
Well, in a way, it's almost like you're hedging your bets.
True, that is true.
There you go. All right, that concludes the predictions for individual award winners. Next week, we will predict how our teams are going to do and how every team is going to do in the league. But in the meantime, Patrick, you know what to do. Hit the music. We're doing this.
You hit the collapse, but there's nothing in it, so you ask yourself, where is my mind? Where is my
Yeah, but fuck it, you fought cancer, you can fight Michael Carter too.
All right, fellas, we are getting close to the end of Fight Club. Man, if anything, gentlemen, I think we should go ahead and do it this way. We have 2 fights left in the Final Four? Patrick, you got it up on your screen? Giving us the one up sign for those hearing this.
Yeah, it turns out we're also not recording video right now, just audio, so it's all good.
The whole thing.
We got the audio. It's all good there.
Well, at least we know it works.
Video's not currently recording.
All right. So
So we have one more fight before our final four here. We've got Mike VRABEL versus Pete Carroll to round out our final four.
All right.
So let's be real. This might be the moment we've been waiting for from our good old friend Jacob Bethke. But we'll see what happens. We have Pete Carroll up against Mike VRABEL. Is that right? We got him there. This is the wise sage versus arguably the second overall favorite in this entire bracket. Mike VRABEL's a big man. He's strong. He's physical. This man he's learned from the worst or the best in this case in Bill Belichick. But he doesn't really take after his sensei all that much. He's his own man. He has his own style. So with that said, as always, Patrick, you will hit lead off, and you'll give us your predictions on how this fight will occur.
Well, the home audience won't be able to see this, but I just changed my background to Mike VRABEL dancing in the locker room with his guys, because it's going to take all about 10 seconds for Mike VRABEL to make mincemeat out of Pete Carroll. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys are going to have a little more interesting and nuanced takes on this one, but I'm going with the chalk.
You know us.
VRABEL.
We like to go into the details about the fight. We like to go into the techniques that each fighter will use to determine who would win.
Sure. Yeah.
And in this case, it's
Yeah.
just
I think
it's
it's just a straight beat down. I don't think I don't know that there's much interesting to happen.
Well,
Just an old man getting beat up by a big middle-aged man. It'll be kind of sad to see, honestly.
it depends. Depends on who you ask.
I don't think
but
anybody
you know
wants
what?
to see an old man get beat up.
That's not always true. That is actually not always true. All right, but I will not elaborate further into that statement. I need to put the hands of this fight into one of the most nuanced analysts in the game. And his name is Jacob Bethke. Bethke, we need to hear your rebuttal. I need to see what you see in this fight.
Well, honestly, Patrick was right about a lot of it, because from a physical standpoint, there's no way that Pete Carroll can match up, even with all of his mastered karate. The age is, we can't do that. So, one might think, would you use a younger version of Pete Carroll? Well, I would. But I'm going to let it be to you guys to decide whether this should take my pass or not. Because this Pete Carroll is a younger Pete Carroll. Kind of.
I mean, it's a younger Pete Carroll.
An interesting thing.
It is. It's a younger Pete Carroll with old Pete Carroll's mind, just so you know.
We're not bringing Pete Carroll of old into the present. No. We're taking Pete Carroll old and taking him into the future, or to the past. Specifically, 1999. After being released after an 8-8 record with the New England Patriots, Pete Carroll found himself without a team. He would not coach again until he picked up the job with the USC Fighting Trojans in 2001. In the meantime, what did he do? He ensured this would never happen. As he's leaving New England, Every player has a profile and a scouting report, even as far back as before we had computers. Before he leaves New England, he posts a ton of shit about how. I said posts like there would have been posts. He comments and writes a laundry list of allegations against Mike Vrabel and puts them into the New England system. Specifically things that he's not a team player, unwilling to play either side of the football, even if asked. Basically just completely demoralizes his name. Therefore, Bill Belichick and the Patriots never signed him. Mike Vrabel continues his career as a middling player for a mediocre Steelers team and eventually goes on to play with the Cardinals for a couple of seasons before retiring as a relative unknown journeyman. He never gets a job as a head coach, never competes in the Fight Club, and Carroll wins.
Holy shit, that is definitely one way to use the primetime rewind.
Like I said, if that's using it, that's using it. But technically, old Pete Carroll went back and
technically,
told young
if he
Pete
does
Carroll to handle
that,
business.
Then every fight we did with Mike Vrabel didn't happen.
Exactly.
So then we
Inception.
need a whole new bracket.
We don't need any of these what do you call it? Timed paradoxes? Yeah, no, we're not gonna take that into account. The time paradox. He's made his decision. Pete Carroll has won in the eyes of Jacob Bethke without even having to lift so much as a fist. I guess that leaves it up
Work
to me,
smarter, not
right?
harder.
Guess this leaves it all up to me. How do I see this fight going? Yes, I see all the points being made about Mike Vrabel being a bigger, more physically imposing man, and Pete Carroll being a smaller, more diminutive, older gentleman. But gentlemen,
Geriatric.
there was once a man.
Experience.
There was once a mixed martial arts champion who won at an old age. His name, and Bethke may be familiar with this guy, was Jackie Chun. Not to be confused with Jackie Chan, but Jackie Chun. Jackie Chun won the World Martial Arts Tournament way back in the day. He was the sensei of a man you may know, Goku. Jackie Chun surprised everybody with his elite techniques, his striking power, his speed, his wisdom. He knew the turtle way better than anybody. And nobody was none the wiser in this case. Nobody ever figured out who he actually was. Who is Pete Carroll really? Other than our version of Jackie Chun. That's right. He's going to tap into his chakras, into his spiritual energy one more time to overcome his physical limitations, and he's going to strike at the heart of Mike Vrabel with the exploding palm technique, or the exploding heart technique. He's made use of it once before. He's going to use it again. That's right. See you later, bozo. Mike Vrabel, you're out of this thing. Because this is an old man's game right now. See you in another 20 years, buddy, when you've learned more. But right now, Pete Carroll is our winner, and he advances. I don't know whose opponent is. But Patrick, please inform our audience of the matchups for next week in the Final Four.
1 second. Excellent.
I'm really glad we're not on camera right now because I'm dying.
In Caesar's NFL Head Coach Fight Club Final Four, we will see Bill Belichick face off against Mike Tomlin, as well as Arthur Smith facing off against Pete Carroll.
Let's go. Oh, we have some very interesting fights next week.
Did y'all see the story about Arthur Smith this week, though, before we wrap up?
Oh, that he's a billionaire's son?
He's from Money. I don't know. I'm going to work that in somehow.
That's going to work to my agenda.
So,
listen,
right.
I will live up to my my avatar here of communist Gucci Mane.
Hey, look, you set out to give us fodder to get us through till the NFL season started, and damn it, you've done it. We are almost here, and it's almost over.
I don't know what the clowns. What's with the clowns?
I'm
Patrick?
surrounded by clowns.
Yeah,
Whatever you mean.
That's true. That's pretty true.
Oh,
that's
well,
going to be me for 17 weeks.
Jacob's rewind out of it, I guess.
That's fair. That's fair.
So,
even though I did try to sneak through without using it, but
I know.
At some point, it was going to have to be used.
It was worth a shot, you know. What is it if not to bend the rules a little bit? You know. But at least I did it in an interesting way, I think.
Our Final Four's got a 4 seed, a 3 seed, a 7 seed, and an 8 seed. So it's not as crazy as it could be, but
yeah, if you just go off seeding,
it's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Listen, next week it can really go either kind of way. You know, it just kind of depends. You know, these matchups, we're gonna need some time to think about it. To everybody listening, there is no agenda to have two old men fight. Okay.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little torn going into this last one because I love Put Up Your Dukes. I love that we've just gotten Arthur Smith this far based off of brawling like a 1920s guy.
Exactly. And then I think all of us have just a little bit extra amount of respect for Mike Tomlin. So, you know.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good fight, even though who knows how it ends. The fans can find out later.
So tune in next week, y'all. But for now, that concludes the NFL segment. And we'll see you all next time.
And concludes the night. Tally ho.
Hasta luego.
That concludes episode 28 of Pass the Rock. Thank you for listening, and as always, like us, share us, subscribe us, do everything you possibly can. Yeah, I just really like it if you guys would help us. We really appreciate it. You get your friends. Might even tell your birthday party. Bye.
This is Pass the Rock.
Well.